Okay, welcome everyone. We are back for Workshop Wednesday. Welcome to Topcoder Design Month. Excited to be back here today. We have a lot of great things to cover. I would also like to introduce who is on our Workshop Wednesday today. We have Farjar, who is, hey, Farjar, introduce yourself.
Yep. Hi guys. I'm, as you know, Fajar MLN, your design co-pilot.
Okay, and we also have on here Sita. Sita, if you can introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Sita, ID Black. I'm probably the person you guys hate so much because I'm going to sending you emails that you don't like, but here I am helping you guys with educations and other stuff.
So Sita is here to help educate everyone, okay? So please be aware of her emails. She is here to help you. So I've asked her about a year ago, maybe over a year ago, to come in and really be, to really kind of watch and help and guide all of you as designers as to all the different things that you may be missing or incorrectly doing as part of the Topcoder process. So treat her nice, and she will also help you guys out. Okay, also on the line here we have Sunita. So Sunita from the Topcoder design team. So Sunita, you could introduce yourself. You're on mute, I think. Sunita, I think you're on mute.
Okay. Hi, so I'm Sunita. My handle is Puchki. I have been associated with Topcoder for almost a decade now. So I used to compete. I've been a co-pilot, and finally I'm a challenge architect with Topcoder. So, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Isa is also on today. Isa, reintroduce yourself.
Sure. Hey, what's up? Isa, challenge architect with Topcoder. Looking forward to just sharing with you guys today for Workshop Wednesday. A lot of stuff. We're going to talk about concept designs, production design, feedback session. Jesse's going to get on and talk about what's going on with with her design challenges. So we've got a jam-packed session for you today.
And finally, Vignesh, otherwise known as TVix.
Hey guys. So I'm working as in Topcoder as a design challenge architect. So I have been with working in Topcoder for past 1.5 years. Prior to this, I was a member in Topcoder since 2013. I'm used to compete in information architecture challenges and web design challenges.
Awesome. Okay, let's see here. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. So jump into everything we want to cover today. Isa, are you guys able to see my slides?
Yep.
Okay, so kicking off our third Workshop Wednesday. So once again, reminder to everyone why we're doing this, why we're here. So we are Topcoder Design, so welcome. We are a global community focused on solving real world UX and UI problems through this crazy thing that we do, crowdsourcing. So as a Topcoder designer, you have an opportunity to compete in multiple types of challenges, and I have a new one to announce today, to win prizes, money, sharpen your skills, and of course, learn the latest technologies. So at Topcoder, being our name is Topcoder, customers bring to us a lot of different ideas and things that they want to get done, and that's all in kind of the latest cutting edge technology. So as a designer, you have an opportunity to work in this space. We are a challenge-based process. So what that means is we run competitions. So there is the potential of obviously not winning the competition, but we do want to make sure that in this process that you are getting feedback, your designs are being critiqued, that you are growing and learning as a designer. So we like to promote design education, open design thinking, and innovation through rapid design. So the way I like to look at this, it's all about challenging ourselves, the design process, and the way we work together as a design community. And I think many of us feel as we also come together as a design family. You have many opportunities to specialize within our community, from information architecture to UI UX design to front-end development. So we welcome all of you to our community please check us out. And of course, ask us questions if you have any questions on how to get started. The key areas: information architecture, UI design, front-end development, and now we have a new area that we're calling talent as a service. So as an individual contributor, we are looking to provide more opportunities for you to interact and work with our awesome customers. So we naturally do this when we run our challenges. We typically run design challenges, and after a couple design challenges, we may invite you to work directly with a customer as you are the winning designer of that challenge, or you may be you may have placed in those challenges. And so we're looking to now provide opportunities for you to work more with those customers, because customers are asking us for this also. So more about that throughout the month, and of course into the rest of the year. So today we wanted to talk about a couple design challenge types, and I'll hand this over to Isa for right now, and then I'll jump into a new one I want to introduce today. So Isa, you can talk about these. I can't see you if you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah. So as I was saying, there's many different types of design. I guess we're going to touch on, I guess, two of the main ones that we kind of handle here at Topcoder. So we want to talk about, the differences between concept design and production design. They're related, but they're kind of different. So when we're thinking about concept design, it's more open. So we're really looking for, just like creativity. We're looking for you guys to like really flex your, I guess you can say, creative muscles. And even though there are design requirements, we're looking for you to really, really stretch and do things that are like a little bit different, a little bit something new. So as far as you can see on the next line, it says, loose branding requirements. Generally, in those cases, again, it's all about experimentation. We want you to, kind of be flexible. Generally, in most challenges, we do have, branding guidelines and different, strategies to follow. But in concepts, we want you to kind of keep it really loose. Again, on suggested screens and functionality, our clients are looking for new ideas, new ways of thinking. So, we really want you to think about like really outside of the box. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, production design, we have a little bit, it's more about rigid requirements. So these are generally designs where we want actual solutions that are actually going to go into being built and developed and going into being coded. So generally the client has, really strict guidelines on what they're looking for. Again, going back to branding and guidelines, a lot of times, the client will provide, branding guidelines, different, colors that the company uses, fonts. So in the production design, we really need you to be a little bit more, I guess, stringent as far as, following the requirements. And then lastly, just, the work needs to be completed. So again, we do want you to be creative on these, but at the same time, it's about delivery, and it's all about, it's more about, having that work in, and it really needs to follow those requirements from the spec to be, developed at a later point. So that's the concept versus production.
Awesome, thank you. So when we look at concept design and you're looking at challenges in the community, typically a RUX, one of our rapid user experience design challenges, is going to fall into a concept design challenge. It's a fast challenge. We're looking for a variety of ideas. It's high prized. The goal is to not follow the norm, not to just color the wireframe, so to speak. The idea is customers are looking for a variety of outcomes. Now, we know that this at times can be difficult because some of you may provide a variety of outcomes, the variety of different designs, and yet the customer goes with maybe the most boring one or the one that seems more traditional. So that's where myself and Isa and Sunita and Vignesh come in, where we're working with our customers to also help them and remind them of the goals of the challenge and the things that they were looking for. So concept design for me is a pretty powerful aspect of the Topcoder design community, in that we're asking you to bring different ideas, and that tends to have a very large impact on our customers and their projects. If you think about why customers are crowdsourcing, why are they coming to Topcoder, is because they are looking for a variety of ideas. They're looking for your approach to their problem. And then farther down the line, we get more into the production design. So if we do a design concepts challenge, and then we get into production design, because we now know what it is that we want to go and design. Some customers do come to us, they already have their brand, they're ready to go, but they're still looking for best your view and your treatment on the user experience. So, needing to follow the brand guidelines, but it also means your take, and that's why it's still a competition. So your approach to what is the best experience using the tools that they're providing. So want to make sure that when you're looking at challenges, these are the types of things that we're focusing or asking, and this is on us to also make sure we're clear to you as to what is the goal of the challenge and the outcome of the challenges. Anyone on the panel today want to talk about concept designs or production designs? Any other thoughts? I can't see everyone, so just let me know, yes or no.
Not really. It's just again to say, with concept, just think about kind of thinking about new ideas, and just kind of really going wild when you see in the spec that we look for concepts. So just really just kind of just go crazy with your ideas, as opposed to production. It's a little bit more rigid. We really need you to follow the spec down to the T, because it's actually going to be built. We're actually looking for actual development of the project, as opposed to concept, where we're more looking for ideas to go further into, I guess, into the production stage.
Okay, so I would like to introduce what I'm calling design direction challenges. We've run a couple of these in the past. I've worked with Blake Wallace and Trevor Gehring in the past on these. This is actually an inspiration from Blake Wallace. If you are all familiar with Blake, is essentially a hybrid of information architecture and UI UX. The way I look at design direction is, if I were to visually create the challenge spec, what might that look like? Okay, so I'm looking to move forward with design direction challenges as an option, as a input into the way we do things at Topcoder Design. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. One of the reasons is because I'm launching 2 of them this afternoon for a customer. So 2 design direction challenges, not only the day that we announce them, but also, let's just jump in and have some fun. So the idea of a design direction challenge is not high fidelity. So our Rux challenges, we're asking you to produce some pretty amazing things in a matter of 72 hours. Okay, design direction is more of a lower fidelity, but providing what I would like to say inspiration to the customer, to other designers. So in this case, we're going to have our customer, who is running a design thinking workshop right this minute. They've been running it this week. They're working, whiteboarding, they're wireframing, they're concepting right now, and they want to take those artifacts, those outcomes of that design thinking workshop, and supply them to you, the Topcoder design community, as 2 different ideas, 2 different challenges, and see where you can help move their project forward. So what would be your take on it? What would be your concepts, or the way you might extend what it is they're working on, but not as a finished product. So just what would be your initial wireframes, your initial color palette, what would be your suggestions on how the application might work and look? So the idea is leveraging maybe a wireframe UI kit, leveraging your favorite tool. Maybe it's Axure, Sketch, Photoshop, XD. So the idea is using your tools. How can you help push this concept farther for our customer? And this is what is going to be a design direction challenge. So I would like to say these are more of a low fidelity Rux. They're still going to be fast. They're still going to be a precursor to a regular design challenge. So your audience would almost be yourself. What would be the types of artifacts that you may be interested in having when you are looking at a design challenge? So I wanted to also walk through. So I asked Toxic Pixel to give me his thoughts on what design direction could be. And so he provided some thoughts, and I just want to kind of touch on these real fast. So what is the design direction? So very simply, it's the direction in which design should go. So for example, modernism is an art movement, but it can also be considered a design direction, as modernism has rules, ethos, logos, the principle of reason and judgment, and execution. So thinking about what is the whole experience, you have a start, middle, and end of the journey. So the design direction in our world, in the design world, is art direction, brand guide, style guide, or development guidelines. So in a design direction challenge, I'm not asking you to go do all these things, because that's, you know, many challenges, many months of work, right? The idea is just, what's your initial take within a 24 to 48 hour window? What would be your approach to the possible direction of this concept in this project? Okay, so why is it important? So the idea is, it's how do you give initial concepts and ideas within a creative group, within creative people, and how can you also inspire other creative people to move in a certain direction? Okay. So one of the things I want to show is also examples of what I'm thinking about. So these are examples that Blake used to provide as part of design challenges that you guys competed on. So a real quick treatment, real quick idea maybe around what the project is, maybe some direction around the actual project. So this one's much more text heavy, okay? But I want to show you this one first, because this is not necessarily, you know, full expectation. Don't expect you to get into these types of details. More or less what the expectation is going to be what's going to be some of the wireframes and color palettes and things like that you may suggest. So this one is for more of the digital sales coach. Some of you may remember this app, but it's like simple wireframes, simple understanding around what the project is about. And then you as the designer, does this give you ideas on how you might actually go and execute the user experience of this app? So not super like low fidelity, but not also finished, right? It's not a finished design. It's just inspiration. Let's see if I have another one here. So again, color palettes, simple wireframes, guidelines into the possibility of where the project can go. Okay, so design direction is a challenge that we're running 2 of them today, launching this afternoon. I'm pretty excited about this. I want everyone to really think of it as low fidelity design concepts. And the key thing here is really packaging up what it is you're doing. And this goes into essentially our next topic, okay? So let's talk about design feedback, and really kind of what is, you know, how is your work presented to Topcoder customers? And so what I wanted to show is some of those steps. When we talk about your work with our customers, we are from the Topcoder perspective, myself and Isa and Sunita and Vignesh, are presenting your designs to our customers, or if you happen to be running, if you happen to be on a project that may be what we call self-service, your designs are being presented directly by the co-pilots. So it's a partnership between the co-pilots and, of course, the Topcoder design team. So depending on the type of relationship we have with our customer, is going to be, you know, how is our customer understanding your designs? So it's super critical that you are packaging up your designs in a way that a customer can understand them. So whether or not you're adding notes, or whether or not you're putting them in the right direction, in the correct order, or making sure that you are providing Marvel app links. I've heard in the past where maybe some designers don't think the Marvel app links are important, but they are amazingly important at this point because it drives how we interact with our customers. So what I want to show you here is, this is Topcoder Connect, and this is where we interact with our customers now. And I'm showing our most recent Rux challenge. So in here we have essentially conversations with the customer, and then we have how we actually present your designs. So this was the rolling checkpoint where we drop in the the Marvel app links, and then in the final round where we drop in the Marvel app links. So not only do we show this as part of Topcoder Connect, but we also show this to the customer using a Google link, which at some point we're going to stop using. It'll all be in Connect. But I think it's critical as designers, you guys understand how your designs are being presented. So we provide our customers with, this is a rolling checkpoint feedback, some guidelines that they should follow, and then links to your designs. And this is where we provide feedback. So your submission number, your Marvel app link, and then links to the JPEG or PNG files that you may have submitted. Okay, so this is where it's going to be super critical, because that your Marvel app is being presented properly, is in order, makes sense. Okay, so this was the rolling checkpoint, and then this is the final feedback round that we had. So once again, direction on the customer looking at the designs, understanding of final fixes, what is the review process, and of course getting into what are the submissions. So again, showing a submission number, what's the link out to the Marvel app. So this is where a customer does exactly what I'm doing right now, and they go and look at your designs. We instruct them to go and look at the comments. We instruct them to go ahead and look at the menu to say view all screens. So majority of our customers have never experienced this kind of interaction. So this is all new. So this is where we work to instruct them. If they don't necessarily know how to do this, or they, you know, it's a learning process for them. Now, the benefits of using tools like Marvel app is it creates a better experience for our customer to provide feedback, which is one of the reasons why I really enjoy using it. And so we instruct them to walk through and experience your design. So at any point, if your design is broken up, or it doesn't make sense, or there's gaps, or the flow is confusing, that stands out right away, right? So the idea of like, oh, this I'm not sure what I'm looking at. I don't know where I'm at. I'm not really sure if they've met the requirements. Another thing at this level is that's very important is when we're looking at the screens, if at a checkpoint we've asked for 3 or 4 screens and you've done 1, a customer automatically says, oh, they only did 1 screen. It may be the most amazing design they've ever seen, but the customer is going to go, they did 1 screen. Now, this is where we come in and say, okay, well, let's look at what they did on that 1 screen. Maybe they only started a day ago. So to help a customer understand the goal, you know, the meaning and the goals of a checkpoint, okay? But my point is that you've already put yourself a few steps back because there was a request for 2 or 3 screens and you've only done 1. So I want everyone to realize that. The other thing is when there's been a request at a checkpoint to not only do 2 or 3 screens, but if there are specific screens or specific requirements and you happen to do all the other requirements and all the other screens, that becomes obvious. So if we've asked for a dashboard and a profile and maybe some functionality, and you happen to show a login screen and other screens that are not requested, then a customer will automatically go, it looks like they didn't do the requirements. So this is once again where myself and Isa and Vignesh and Sunita come in and help them understand what is there. But this is now us explaining your design, right? So we're working in a virtual way here. So everything that you can do to help the customer understand what is your design and what is the process and what it is that you've accomplished helps you win money, helps you succeed in these challenges. When you provide distractions that are not aligned with what was expected, I think it's just human nature where we go, okay, that's a distraction or that's a negative. Okay. Now the opposite is also true. If we've asked for 3 screens and you did 4 screens, it's like, oh, hey, this person happened to do a 4th screen. Now, I don't want everyone to run out there and go add extra screens. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the value of what is that additional item that you happen to have done based on the requirements of the challenge, based on the flow, a better understanding of the user experience, right? So anything that you can do to make sure that your design and your message is being conveyed clearly to the customer is going to help you in our process, and also help myself and the team explain your design. I know many of you may not be super comfortable with writing English or sharing English or sharing notes, but even if you were to convey some of those items to, whether it's comments in the Marvel app or comments in the text file, that allows us to understand what your concepts are or what it is you're trying to convey to our customer, and we can help you in that explanation. Okay, I'll stop there. I feel like I just talked a lot. In this piece right here, anyone on the panel, anyone want to jump in and add any thoughts on how we present the designs? Sita, any thoughts on requirements, or does anybody have any thoughts on just the checkpoint overall? And any questions out there as part of everyone who's watching right now?
No questions currently, Adam, but I'm encouraging them.
Okay. Team, any lessons learned at checkpoints? Any things you feel you may get burned on, or designers get the short change on, or things that they should be aware of?
Well, I think you made a really good point about just like when as far as like the design work is concerned, if someone doesn't, I guess, deliver what's needed, then we kind of have to jump in and explain the design. But I just want to say that like whatever it is that you submit, communicate something. So for me, when I'm looking at like work and I open it up and let's say your presentation wise, let's say if things aren't like really aligned properly, it doesn't look neat, or like the colors are off, things like that. Things like that have like a really, I guess, negative, has like a negative kind of feedback, or kind of gives like a negative outlook on it, like right off the jump. It could be a really good idea, but just like the presentation isn't done well. So that's something to kind of think about, just like making sure that like, just kind of like, even if you don't have really good graphic design skills, just kind of like learning a little bit about how to do like layouts and how to have things proportioned properly, like color palettes, like what colors complement each other. I'm always like, I guess, if you don't know how to like mix colors, I'm always like recommending to use like Adobe Color or something like that. Like, so with that tool, it gives you color recommendations. It gives you color palettes, how to blend different colors together. Those are things to think about. So yeah, so just like think about just like the presentation, just have that done well, and then your idea will be, it won't be such a distraction as far as like when a person is looking at your idea. It's like you kind of like come in and see like, oh wow, this is cool, and then you kind of like you look at the idea a little better, rather than the other way around when things just look off, and then it's like you're looking at the other things.
So a key thing here is like, if I'm struggling to explain your design, one, it's probably now it may be bad user experience, but we may be missing out on a cool idea that you have, right? So if I'm struggling, Issa's struggling to explain your design, then we're struggling in the meeting with the customer, and then all of a sudden your design is now going down the negative path, right? Now, the flip side is we may discover something in our meeting with our customer, which may then make your design stand out, right? But if we don't have an understanding of those guidelines because the presentation doesn't make sense, the flow doesn't make sense, then that obviously is hurting your presentation and your ability to essentially win a prize. So
I have one quick thing to add, Adam, and I also have a few questions in the chat. So I'm Jessie, by the way. I was not on camera earlier. One of the things as a client for Topcoder Design, I'm often a client for Topcoder Design. Everything I do for Topcoder and TCO is run through the design community. One thing that always gets me, and it shouldn't, but it does, so just keep this in mind, when there's a simple spelling error in the design, technically, it doesn't matter. It's not part of design. But just double check the content that you're providing in your design. It shouldn't make a difference, but sometimes it does. And I know I've heard from other Topcoder customers in the past that have had issues. Oh, well, it's spelled all wrong and there's issues. So just keep that in mind. I think that's something to note. We do have a couple questions, Adam, for you. So one of them is the checkpoint timeline similar with Rux Lux challenges? He's asking about the design directional challenges.
So yeah, so design direction, the ones I'm launching today, they're going to be they're going to be fast. The checkpoints are going to be within 15 hours, and the customers are in the workshop looking at designs. I'll be moderating the reviews of those. This specific design direction challenges that I'm launching is going to be unique. Okay, majority of design direction challenges are only going to be 24 hours and be like one round. If anything, we may have a rolling checkpoint like a Rux Lux, but majority of the time, it's just going to be 24 hours before a design challenge. We're going to run a design direction challenge for you guys to help provide inputs basically into the challenge. What I'm running today is a little more unique, a little more robust, higher prizes because we're running 2 of them. It's design month. And also I want to kind of kick it off and get everyone engaged. And I also want to provide feedback to everyone to say like, yeah, this is the direction we want to go in future design direction challenges. So we will have a checkpoint in this one. So checkpoint will be Thursday, final will be Friday, and this is all live with the design, the executives that are on site with our customer right now doing design thinking workshops. So I'm pretty excited about it. Also want to make sure everyone jumps in and participates. So we obviously showcase to this customer in this group that you guys are your engagement in this process. I'm actually super excited about the design direction because I think it adds to the design thinking process. Like if I can show not only how successful this works with this group, many other companies out there are doing design thinking workshops. So the ability to tap into the power of the crowd, this amazing design community we have, to continue the iteration process outside of a workshop.
Great, thank you. Benny, does that answer your question? Hopefully. We have one other question from Lozing Singha. Can all checkpoint feedbacks be provided in Marvel as well as Screenwise?
Yeah, I wish that was the case. We push most of our customers to provide feedback in Marvel. A lot of them are not comfortable doing that. They would prefer to drop it into a Word file or give us the notes and then let us essentially, provide that feedback back to you guys. There's definitely a comfort level, and that's where we've realized, the role of Issa and Sunita and Vignesh in these types of challenges is to help a customer be comfortable with this process. Many customers are used to designers sitting right next to them. Many customers are used to not providing this kind of feedback, right? Our direction is be honest, provide as much feedback as possible. We want our designers to improve and understand what's working and not working. And we have some customers that are so excited about this, and others that they've never done anything like this before in their life, and it's like, wait, I have to provide feedback, and I have, my time is valuable. I don't know if I can do this. And so for us, it's like, well, the time that the designers have put into your project is valuable. So, the whole goal is they've put effort into this. Please, you put your effort back into it, and it'll be an awesome process. So we work through that. We're still continuing to refine that. I think the best way to refine it is by introducing new steps and processes, like maybe the design direction is going to be a great challenge to help bridge some of these things, to help create better specs, help create better understanding of a project with a customer. So I think those are the kind of things, bringing back spec reviews, bringing in a design review board, I think are ways for us to help customers be more relaxed and understanding with the way we do things around here. That may be a long-winded answer.
We have a couple other comments on checkpoint requirements and how they're not uniformly listed between different challenges and co-pilots. We have some other folks that agree. Nowadays the screen requirements are not listed properly. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Correct. So yep, we're working to correct that. We have a new challenge template that all of our co-pilots should start using. So the idea is that we want to make sure that if there are checkpoint screens listed, that they should be added in. So that's process on our side. We need to make sure we're following. And if you happen to see those things in the challenges, ask, call it out. Make sure the co-pilots update their challenges to bring some of that refinement to our overall process.
Great, thank you. And there's
is the goal always? Yes, I would like to have all the checkpoint requirements listed and approachable. So I would like you as the designer in the competition to be aware of what is the expectation at the checkpoint. And my direction to the design co-pilots is, and to the team here, we need to get that from the customer. One of the best conversations I have with customers is they come to me and say, I want this app. And I go, okay, that's great. When do you want it? And they're like, I want it tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, great. So we have ways of tackling that. So can you focus it in on what's the 3 or 4 most important things? And a customer's like, oh, I haven't really thought about that way. It's like, well, okay. So this is our tools for engaging our customers to say, let's focus in on what matters, right? So if we can get a customer to tell us what matters, what's the key thing they're focused on, we can then say, this is a great challenge type for this is a RUX. A great challenge type for this is our app visual design challenge, right? So this is why we have the different types of challenges that we have. And then this is also where this team and the co-pilots can then say, okay, within this challenge, our expectation at the beginning is these 3 or 4 screens, and at the end is 10 screens. But I definitely want to make sure everyone here is breaking it down that way, because I think that helps you obviously be successful, but also provide the presentation that I'm talking about, the ability to package up what it is that you want to submit to the challenge.
There's a couple other questions in there, Adam. I don't know if you have access to the chat.
I do.
So there's a question from Yoki.
Should each challenge inform about instruction like concept design or production design? So this is where, yes, I would like each challenge to actually call that out. Once again, a question to our customer. I always ask, are you looking for concepts, or are we looking to just get work done? So this is us asking the customer to tell us what they're looking for, and it's our way of refining that with them. So I push concepts more or less because I believe that leaves things open to interpretation, that allows for more ideas. It's less rigid. It opens the customer's mind more to crowdsourcing and the design results that we do get. So I tend to push customers towards concept design because I think that sets the right expectations for the outcomes of what we get in crowdsourcing design. That's why we have the challenges that are called design concepts. But I believe, to your question, we should actually probably have a line or a paragraph in every challenge that says this is a production design challenge or this is a concept design challenge. So all co-pilots who are watching and listening, please let's make sure this happens. Okay.
And a question from Akhtar Javed, why nowadays some challenges the scope is more than the prize pool?
That shouldn't be the case. So I know if you notice, there's probably 3 sizes of first place prizes. One of the things that we deal with a lot is price pressure. Obviously, a customer comes in. We want to bring as much work to the community as possible. But of course, we have customers that have budgets and we have customers that don't have budgets. So I believe there are at times, and I'm guilty of this myself, where we're willing to say yes and try to put more into a challenge size that shouldn't be there, or it's discovered maybe after the challenge is launched that there's actually more there than what we thought. So maybe we didn't do our due diligence to actually break down what all the requirements are. Where a wireframe challenge could have done that, a design direction challenge could have done that. Where it's like, oh, hey, it looks like it's only 4 or 5 screens, but then when you actually dig into it, that 5th screen actually has 8 scenarios. So now all of a sudden, the challenge is huge. So that's where spec reviews for me help to mitigate that, help to actually look at that. Someone else who can take fresh eyes before we actually roll it out. And then it's also us to make sure that we are not trying to cram too much into the challenges, that there is a reason why there are sizes. And it's the expectation is a certain level of screens and fidelity. So if you see that, bring it up. I always tell everyone here, we want to be able to fail fast. So if we happen to launch a challenge and it is way too much effort for the prize pool, and that discussion is going on in the forum, we can then realize this, have that discussion, either stay the course or cancel the challenge and repost it with more prizes. If we learn these things at the end of the challenge and there's only 1 submission, then that obviously we didn't fail fast. We did fail. And then of course, it's harder to have that conversation with the customer, which is once again, the importance of the forums. Okay. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I know we need to get over to Jesse's stuff. Anybody else have any question, any other from the panel, any other comments on these questions?
Not on this question. I like to add one more point regarding the checkpoint process. So, mostly clients and customers used to view the Marvel app links. So it will be better if designers put their thought process behind the designs in the command, Marvel app commands, or if they have any notes, they can take a screenshot and put it in the Marvel app link. So, or their design thinking, it will be helpful. It will impress the client, and also they will understand their design thinking process in the perspective of designer, and it will also helpful for us to explain to the customer. So I like to add this. Yeah.
Yep. Vignesh and Sunita, from both of you have been competitors, and now that you are employees and working with customers, any based on what we're talking about right now, any feedback or things that you didn't realize as a competitor that you think is important now?
Yeah. Adam, what I have found is while competing, what we think of the way we go through the process is completely different. And from the other end, a lot of times client would have asked something in a brief, and for example, they've asked for professional designs, those kind of stuff. But while reviewing the submissions, what happens is sometimes that they go through the the feedback is, they go through the designs completely different. Sometimes they might start liking something that they have not asked for, so then probably they would like to pick that design, and it might not be professional, it might be something different from what they've asked. And then there's a conflict later that why has the client chosen this kind of a design and not what was explained in the brief. But we need to understand sometimes is that it's clients ask. So basically it's finally they are the ones who have to use it. So sometimes these kind of changes do happen. And we kind of need to have an open mind. and not complain that this was not asked in the brief, why was this chosen, and those kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, correct. So, at the end of the day, it's subjective, right? Now, I think some of the processes we've been talking about I believe will improve this, like a design review board, or even, our team here in improving some of the way we communicate with our customers around those things, right? But yeah, I'll tell everyone here, I've presented everyone's designs, and I've presented them to the best of my ability based on the requirements that I know. And I've even pushed customers in, like, hey, this is, based on what you told me a month ago, this is the most amazing thing. And they'll go, yeah, that's great, but this over here is what I want to do now, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess if that's what we're gonna do, then that's what we're gonna do, right? So to everyone out there, that it's end of the day, it's still subjective, and still the biggest probably crux in this process. Now, that being said, I do want to introduce process around this, even more UX testing with tools like Maze.design, and with Marvel App, who's now rolling out UX testing also. So if we can show our customers the benefits of your ideas and your designs, that I believe that is actually going to be stronger than some of that subjectivity. Okay. Jesse, let's jump into our next stuff here.
There's one last question from Yoki Adam. I don't know if you want to address it now or wait until the end.
That's near the end. Let's jump into.
All right.
Because I want to make sure we get the stuff. Okay, Jesse's Design Month. Okay.
Hi. I'm really excited about this. If you guys have not heard about it, it's kind of a crazy idea that I had that we turned into a design challenge. And so the first round happened last week. The designers were given an opportunity to redesign the Topcoder profile page, and they were given some really interesting inputs to add to their design. And these were out of the 10 heats that we ran, and these were the placements. So congratulations to all of the advancers from each of the heats. So everybody who submitted in the Design Month Dash has won a t-shirt. And all of these advancers you see here have won $50 and the chance to participate in the next round. So we're really excited about the opportunity for them to participate in the next round, because if they advance to that third round, the final prize is a trip to the TCO 19 finals. So that's a really, really exciting prize. Now, all of these designers, they worked for 3 days and were able to pull off a really great submission. And I did work with 8 different co-pilots to run all these challenges. So I wanted to give a big shout out to all of the co-pilots who helped us run these challenges. They did a fantastic job. And what I asked of them was, for the heat that they ran, to select their favorite design out of those submissions, so I could show them with you here today. Some of them are the first place picks. Some of them are, in the top 5 of some point. So these are the selections that were picked from the co-pilot. So first place for Heat 1. And as you can see, the challenge here was to include a camera and a chipmunk in their design. So congratulations to Contact on his or her design. So thought this was really interesting. First place for Heat 2 is Sindika. And they had to include a skunk and a cell phone. So you can look down there and see in the chat is a little skunk. So a really clever way that he brought in the interesting items. And I really love the top portion of the profile page that showcases more of the individual that this person is. And then for Heat 3, we have Edip M17, who won with a blue jay and a coffee cup. As you can see at the top there, they were able to incorporate those random items into icons. So super creative. And the overall color scheme that they were given, I think they did a really good job on. I mean, trying to make a Topcoder profile page with violet and purple is probably really tricky, but I think they did a really good job incorporating those colors. And then for Heat 4, we have Rio Purba. So congrats to you for hitting first place and moving on. Their funny item was a caterpillar and a notepad. So that was something of interest, and they used a little caterpillar, in a really creative way. So great job Rio on that one. And then for Heat 5, we have Vivek Sati. They had to use a mouse in a car, and I loved that how they utilized the cars here, showing their advancement to TCO. So that was a really, really clever idea.
So this one stands out to me. So I was a judge in one of the heats, and you know, I think in this whole process, so Jesse won. I love this whole idea that you've been doing. So, but to all the designers out there, you know, this once again gets into new concepts and pushing the boundaries and finding new ways in the sense of how can we make our profile pages more engaging. So you know, you are the customer here, right? It's your profile page. And I felt a lot of the design still kind of looked like our existing profile page. So what I like about this one is it is breaking it up. It's bringing in some of the things Jesse was looking for. It's, you know, it's a 3-column. It's, you know, we see this obviously across different social media sites, things like that, but it is bringing data and information that I think would be impactful. So I think everyone, as you continue into the next rounds, be thinking the super creative, like what is the future of essentially the profile page?
Yeah. Exactly. And I think one of the feedback comments that I put in a lot of the feedback sessions I did was pay attention to the hierarchy. You know, what is the most important thing that people want to see? And I think a lot of you nailed that, whereas some of you, you know, it wasn't as clear. So I think that is an important piece for profiles for sure. And so for Heat 6, we have Dendi H7. I really liked how this was unique, and, you know, it's a different way to show boxes. You know, it just really stood out as something interesting. This one was a bumblebee and emoji they had to utilize. So that was fun. You can see the bumblebee down there. And then for Heat 7, we have Arif K, who I know is on the chat. So congrats, Arif. This was a really cool, okay, so this was probably my favorite use of the random item. So Arif was given a narwhal, which is a really interesting thing to have to put into a Topcoder profile page. And if you can see, you can just barely see the header, the green header up top there, and there's a narwhal design in there. And it's just, I just loved that. It was so subtle, but it was so creative. And I have to talk to our brand designer here at Topcoder to see if we can fit this narwhal design here, because I love it. And they're gonna say, no, Jesse, a narwhal doesn't really go with Topcoder, but it is what it is. I love it. So good job there. And then Heat 8, we have Journey U. And so they had to use a laptop and a dolphin, which obviously is completely random, right? So I liked the way that they did the color. This was really unique, a different take on how the profile page could look. So great job there. And then Heat number 9 is Onin KX Randa, and I'm not going to tell everybody he's my favorite designer because he is. Shh, don't tell anybody. I did not judge this round, so there was no favoritism, I promise. He had to use a starfish and a dumbbell, which is kind of tricky. I really liked how he incorporated those items and really gave the profile page a personality. So great job to you. And then we have Heat 10 finally with Brian Binar, who won. This one was super cool. He had to use a unicorn in a book. And he was able to incorporate those in a really interesting way and show some things that our designers would probably really like in their Topcoder profiles. So congratulations to all the top 10, to all the top 5 from each heat to move on to the next round. We're really excited. And I also need to give a quick shout out to our Topcoder staff. We had over 20 Topcoder staff members who volunteered their time to judge these designs. Many of them, it was their first time judging a Topcoder design challenge, which was fantastic. I loved having them be a part of it, and I think they all learned a lot about how our design process works. So congratulations again. Thank you, everybody, and I can't wait to see you next week in round 2.
Awesome. Thank you, Jesse. And like I said, I love this challenge, so it was great. It was fun judging it. I felt like maybe I was being a little harsh on some of my judging, but I definitely want to make sure everyone out there is getting the feedback and the direction. So love what you're doing here. As always, make sure everyone go and check out the challenges that are live. Make sure you check out my 2 design direction challenges this afternoon. Jump in, ask questions, ask let us know your thoughts, or if anything is confusing. Once again, think more low fidelity design concepts, low fidelity rucks, not the high fidelity rucks. It is going to launch this afternoon. Checkpoint will be on Thursday, and the final will be on Friday. And then upcoming the next couple Wednesdays, we're going to start talking about design tooling platforms that we love, designer interviews, and of course, we still have more in shop for this month. Okay, Jesse, any other questions we have out there?
Oh, actually, there's one last item that we didn't touch upon here that I wanted to remind everybody. Tomorrow, Arianto Unco, one of our Topcoder members and TCO finalists, will be doing a live design workshop. The link is available on social media. It was in the newsletter, so we can share it here as well. And he'll be doing a live workshop, and I think it'll be interesting for you to check out how he does designing and all that good stuff. So don't miss it. It's the same time tomorrow.
Awesome. Okay. What questions we have here?
We have a couple other questions about the improvement of challenges and low participation and knowing about the start time. There's some challenges that start and end at the same time, and making sure participation is not low, how we can improve on it from Yoki.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a problem we historically have, right? Our challenges come in waves, right? And being that we are a crowdsourcing community, the thought is that the challenges should be able to be launched at any time, and of course, large community that you guys are out there should be able to jump in and participate. Now, my guidance to the co-pilots and to the rest of the team is look at what's out there. Be smart, right? Make sure you're launching things and not overlapping checkpoints and not overlapping final deadlines and things like that, because you do want the max participation in the challenges. So again, if you happen to see things that are conflicting, please do call it out, mention it in the forums. Co-pilots and the design team should be monitoring and watching those things and being smart around launching. Of course, customer timelines do tend to drive a lot of this, and this is where we are also communicating with them. The best outcomes for their challenges may be on certain days and things like that. Okay.
Great. I think we answered most of the questions. There's a few other notes from David Baxter. I think they're mostly comments, but thanks, David, for putting those in there. We appreciate it. So if there's any other questions, I think we're good.
Okay. Hey, Sita, I'll put you on the spot real fast. Anything you want to inform everyone around the most common things you see missed, the most the most annoying email you have to send all the time? What's from your perspective, what would be a great educational thing for everyone?
After a year doing this and hundreds of emails, what I can learn is failed screening doesn't discriminate whether you are new or old designers. It happens. People make mistakes you forgot. So that's what I can keep reminding designers. After you submit your work, please don't load it again. Cross-check again. Is the link for your notes for the screener already there or not? Don't let your hard work for days gone just because you forgot where you get your icons, where do you get your phones. And I understand it's quite frustrating, but you have to understand the design process. Like screener need to know where do you get this all, whether you get it from like all the approved list. And also if you design the icons, always also write down in the declaration note to the screeners that you design it by yourself. This is very important. Otherwise the screeners couldn't find out where is it from. And the other thing is, especially for new designers, I can see there's a lot of new designers, like they kind of insist like what I'm doing is right and everything, which I find is a little bit interesting, because we try to explain to them like this is the policy, how to compete in Topcoder, but then they keep repeating the same mistakes. For the new designers, if you're watching this workshop, I would like to remind you, you need to respect the rules and be consistent. other designers who has been in Topcoder for many years, they kind of honor the rules and doing this as the way in studio works. So it's very important you follow the rules, and it is not that much. It's just very simple where you can get all the third-party materials. That's it. And the reason we do that, we want to avoid the copyright infringement in the future. And this is very complicated process to top coders and clients, and we don't want any abuse in the system in the future. So I hope that you guys really respect the rules that we have in Topcoder, that this is already formulated for years and for a reason. And the other thing I would like to say, please don't ignore the alert emails. I know this is very boring that you're getting my emails like, hi, this is me, I'm telling you, you are forgetting your declarations, but my point is just to helping you, because I know you probably forget again for final, and screeners, after they try to remind you in your checkpoint and you repeat it again in the final, please don't be upset if they're going to fail you, because we're just simply doing the job, that how it works in Topcoder. I guess that's all from my side.
Awesome, thank you. And a reminder, everyone, the reason we have these rules in place is because the very first question any customer asks me is, how do I know that the designs are not stolen off the internet? How do I know that these are original designs? How do I know that this is a safe process? Okay, crowdsourcing design. So one of the first things at Topcoder we have to work with our customers is easing them into the process and making sure that they feel comfortable in working with Topcoder and working with you as a virtual community. Okay, and that's why we have these processes in place, because we are one of the only platforms out there that actually does these things, right? And we are actually screening your designs, and we are looking for things, and it's not a matter of trying to get away with something, right? It's a process of doing the right thing. Okay, because and to be clear with everyone, I'm looped in on all of these emails, so I'm aware of everything that's going on also. So, please reply back to Sita. And it's super important that everyone is following the right rules, and we want to help educate you. So our first act is not is not to be mean and to and to essentially yell at you. Our first act is to educate you. Now, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, you will not be participating in Topcoder. Okay, not to end on that note, but super excited about our Topcoder month. Super excited about our workshop Wednesdays. I do hope everything today was beneficial and helpful for everyone. We will continue with our workshop Wednesdays over the next couple of weeks. Jesse, anything else to add?
No, we have another fun challenge coming up later this month as well, so stay tuned. Lots of fun things happening.
Awesome. Okay, design direction challenges tonight. Keep an eye out for them. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.